Hey guys, it's Bliss here, the Baron's Finest, getting you all a deck profile of my Team League Springfest 2016 Nova Grappler deck list. I wound up playing this on my team. Our other two teammates were the new Diablo deck and Jewel Knight. I wound up going 3-2, and my team wound up dropping up in round 5. My record, I believe, was actually the best on my team, if not second. I thought I was the middle guy. I was player slot B for anybody that was wondering. So I kind of played against, I guess, the more obscure decks on the team, if anything. But yeah, it was a fun day. I liked it. For the most part, liked the list. There are some cards that I think back on it I might change. Haven't quite decided what I would replace them for, if anything. But yeah, I mean, the list was good. I'd probably play it again if I had to. No major complaints. Round 1, I played against the 5 grade 3 Great Nature deck. Won against that, and that round my entire team won all my matches. Their opposing team was OTT in slot C, I believe, and DP in slot A. Yeah, that's right. So it was OTT, the 5 grade 3 Great Nature, and then D Police. It was Die Robo, or Die, whatever you want to call it. Um, so I put against the Great Nature. We just stayed stuck against each other. Nobody wanted to give the other the first ride. Eventually, he just caved because I even had to call him with the crit trigger to swing at his dudes, and he just couldn't keep up momentum. So there was that. And my entire team won that entire round. Round 2, I played against DotX. I don't quite. I know my friend who played Diablo put against Gray and Blue, and he lost. I don't remember what their third. That was the C slot again. Don't remember what the A slot was versus Jewel Knight. But I wound up being the only win on my team in that round where I played against DotX, because I apparently win that matchup. Round 3, I played against PRISM. Don't remember what our slot A played against, but he wound up winning. And then in slot C, it was Silverthorn. He won. My friend, or the Diablo player on my team, wound up losing that round. Round 4 was I put against Vanguard Altmile with the new Brave support. I actually kind of didn't realize that Hope Song Angel can call ones. That's pretty good. So there was that. I lost that round, but my team made up for it. I know slot A was Blue Wave, but I don't remember what slot C was playing against at that point. So there's that. That was my first loss of the day. And then round 5, I played against Brawler. I lost to a misplay big time. So that happened. But you do what you do. I wound up misplaying because I wound up swinging his Vanguard instead of his Wild Clock. And I didn't realize he had a 10k shield in hand. If it was a 5k, I would have won that. Well, no, actually... No, I wouldn't have won that. Never mind, because even if it was a 5k, he was discarded. But point being, I lost the misplay mostly. I still should have swung on his rear guard. Because it would have dipped his Calm because he had a trigger behind it. And then my friend lost... And then my Diablo player lost that one. So, there was that. But, yeah, I mean, I like the deck overall. I thought it was a good pick. I might play Libs at Regionals, I'm not sure. And for anybody who was wondering, I don't know what won the Team League, but I know that 5 Grade 3 Great Nature and Libs were really popular picks. I know Green Blue was pretty popular. Royals were extremely popular, especially Thing Blaster. Thing Blaster, I think, was like the most played Royal deck, if not the most played deck I heard about that entire day. Barely heard of anybody talking about Nova Grappler. Not a whole... Well, no, there was Raging Form. A lot of people were playing Raging Form. I saw like a good chunk of teams where it was like Thing Blaster, Raging Form, then some kind of filler. Yeah, nothing... I mean, there were a good amount of Grand Blue. Like I said, Lives in Great Nature. So there was that. But I'm going to go ahead and just stop blabbing now and get onto my deck profile. And again, there may be like some card changes, but they're going to be really minor if I decide to change anything at all. So for our starting Vanguard, we played one copy of Extreme Battle Rumble. I still think this card is fantastic as the starter. I hate the new one. One of the judges at the event was talking about how the new starter is probably the better starter because it's an enabler like Audrey. But I feel this deck has so many enablers anyways, you don't need it. Plus, I don't want my starter to go away. I want it to stick. That's why I play Rumble. If I wanted my starter to go away, I'd probably be playing the Grade 3 Searcher or something like that. For triggers, we actually changed the trigger lineup compared to Chicago last year. where we went 8 crit instead of the 7-5. Red Lightnings are Unflipper and the new crit Extreme Battler Break Pass. For people who don't know this card, this came out at GBT06 and it is our Heart Thump clone for Victor. So this card's great. Swap into Soul, plus 5k, draw a card. I made columns with this, with Rumble. So we made those cheese columns and drew cards, boys. For draw trigger, I don't like stands. Stands are no bueno. You want to be able to dig into your deck for combo pieces, because this deck doesn't inherently plus. So you need to be able to do that. And because we can't play Dan Shark, because we're not really running into the new rush units, because they're pretty much all bad. I hate to say that, but they pretty much are. Like, there's like 2, I think, that are okay, maybe. And then last but not least, the 4 heals. I think Rescue Bunny is the nicest looking one. But that is it for the trigger ratio. 8 crit for a draw for heal. I really don't think I'd change that, because I really like Break Pass a lot, because it substitutes itself for more draws. So when you brick, you either have the 10k shield or you have the potential to float into another card, so I like it a lot. For ones, we play 4 copies of the Stride Fodder, Rashid. Really good card. Gets you into Victor. You need to do it. 4 Lady Cyclone. I don't like the new Perfect Guard. Would have been really nice if it came out a long time ago, but right now I think this card's better. I don't like running the Counterblast on the new Perfect Guards. 3 copies of Meliaki, which is a new card that came out of the new, which is a card that came out of the new set. So if you have a Vanguard with Victor in its card name, all of your other units in the same column as it get a new skill. Rush, when it becomes stand, you get another new skill. So it's a skill that gives a skill. And it says when this unit attacks the Vanguard, you choose up to 2 of your units and they get plus 4k until end of turn. So basically this power pumps more. I kind of want to play 4 of this, and I might possibly drop the Claydol mechanic or 2. Claydol mechanic, I don't know. I usually like this card a lot, but I wasn't as fond of it this weekend. It just kind of, I mean, there was like nice times where it came up, but I don't know. I just wasn't as fond of this card. And if anything, I almost want a second energy charger. So I might take out both Claydol mechanics for a second energy charger and another Meliaki. But I'll have to fiddle with that a bit more. But I will say the problem with energy charger I do also kind of have is that it takes away soul. And this deck doesn't exactly soul charge it, but it soul blast. Well, it'll soul blast more with the energy chargers. But I don't know. That's a little bit I want to test with. The Claydol mechanic, like I said, is the only thing I might possibly cut, because you really want to see Meliaki. For 2s, one of our most important tools, or 2s, Cool Hank, and along with our definitely most important 2 for Sazanda. If you're not maxing both of these, you're doing something wrong. Oh my god, oh no. These 2 are great. These 2 are like the best cards in the deck in my opinion. Well, next to Victor. Like, these are the 2 most important 2s. You need to be maxing on both of these. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't want to. And then for the last 2s, because I do play 12, I chose to play 2 Arboreal. I kind of regret not playing 3 of this, actually. I'm probably going to be bumping it up to 3. This is a card I'm highly considering bumping up to 3. For people who don't know what this is the Glimmerbeth clone for Victor. And it's essentially Hank, but it doesn't need a booster. So it's an 11k attacker on its own, so that's really good. And only triggers when you swing at Vanguard. And this is a part of some really dumb combos. And then my last 2 were 2 copies of Starlight Hedgehog. I like Hedgehog, and I did the Tri-Brew Retire combo a few times. But I don't know. This might go down to 1. Maybe. I might play the 3rd Arboreal over the 2nd Hedgehog. But that's something I'll have to test around with. But I like the 2s for the most part. I guess that's some of the changes I make. For 3s, I played 3 Muscle Shriek. In the way I played this card, I almost actually wish this was Dan Shark, because Dan Shark can retire. And even though I'm not playing anything with Natural Rush, like, I don't know, I don't like this card all that much. But at the same time, it's better than compared to like nearly everything we have. There's nothing else that's really particularly good. Mega Flare is okay, but that requires too much investment in the main board in my opinion, especially now that we have better support. So I don't feel like, because of the new better support we have, we don't need Mega Flare. Plus Mega Flare makes your bad matchups worse. and it just kind of makes the deck worse in my opinion. But I don't know, like Muscle Streak I felt was okay because if you have to ride it, you still get to retire. And not to mention the GB1, you get to restand your front row, which is pretty cool. And then last but not least, the main grade 3 for Victor, the boy, the man. Victor, I love you. Victor is such a great card. And that does it for the deck. Like I said, outside the clay dot mechanics and maybe a hedgehog, that's how I would consider changing the deck. And as for the G zone, I play 2 copies of Meteor Kaiser Tribrute. Tribrute really gets in there. It just retires boards because literally with the Rumble column, you just CB2, give 4K to the column and retire 2. And with Hedgehog, you just on flip 1 and draw 1. So it gets you in there. I hate Vic 10 now. I don't think there's any reason to play Vic 10 because you have Meteor Kaiser Victor in the deck now. So Tribrute just does everything Vic 10 does. Or no, Victor does everything Vic 10 does but better. So if you're gonna, so there's no reason to be playing the Vic 10. So you might as well give yourself the option of retiring. And if you say, oh, well, I don't have anything I want to really restand or there's nothing to retire, you can vanilla stride this and it's fine. That's why we play the 2. 2 Victoplasma, which I sort of regret not playing 4, awkwardly enough. I've never wanted the 4 outside of this weekend. I still won. Well, actually, no. There was one game I wanted the other, though, and that was my Brawler matchup, which is my last round. But, I mean, outside that, like, I was going to lose that game either way at the rate that was going. So, the 4 Victoplasma, or 2, like, I wouldn't have minded the 4, but the 2 was okay. I mean, there were just times where I wanted the other 2, but I don't think I'm going to really change the G lineup for it. Because I think Tribrute's still too good. And then last but not least, 4 copies of Meteor Kaiser Victor. The stupid card. I never got the 100k guard turn off with this thing. I just never saw the pieces for this. I never saw the pieces for it. Couldn't draw Mayaki. I couldn't draw enough 2s. I struggled for 2s, like drawing my 2s the other day, and I played 12. Like I would maybe see like 2 2s a game, and a lot of the time my lineup was literally just swinging with 1s, or even break passes. So that was pretty bad. But this card is still fantastic. It's a GB2 enabler for free, and like I said, this card does everything that Vic 10 does, but better. And there's no reason not to be maxing on this and play Vic 10 at the same time. So don't play Vic 10, guys. Save yourself the trouble. But I think that's actually going to be doing it for this deck profile, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to leave me some feedback. It really helps me out. Let's get a little frame real fast. There we go. Yeah. So, honestly, though, I did like the deck. I thought it was really good. Can't really say I'd change a lot about it. I mean, it was a good deck. I would recommend it. Some changes, like I said, I'm debating about playing the extra Arboreal. Might be cutting Claydol mechanics. I'm going to look back into Nova grade ones. And like I said, I'm going to go 3 Arboreal, 1 Hedgehog. Because I don't know, Hedgehog was good, but it wasn't that good, and Hedgehog's really bad in control. Another card I'm actually considering is Beast Deity Golden Anglet, which is basically another Sazanda. But instead of getting 5k on every restand, it gets plus 3k, but at the same time, that's still really good because you're essentially getting 8 on every restand. So, it still builds numbers. But I think that's actually going to do it for this deck profile, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave us feedback, yada yada yada. Share this with your friends. And I know this wasn't a top deck profile from Team League, and this is unfortunately the only deck profile from my team on that Team League. But I figured you guys would still like to see it. Plus, it's a post-GB TO6 Nova Grappler deck. So, until next time, peace.